Hey friends, it's Joby here, and we're going to check out some Star Wars Battlefront. Just a heads up, I'm recording on an Elgato HD60, I'm playing on PC, but the PC was provided to me by EA, courtesy of a special event that they held in Stockholm, Sweden, which they flew me to. They paid for my flights and my accommodation. So this is a controlled event environment. Anyway, the Star Wars Battlefront beta drops in just a few days, and I got an opportunity to play it early. And even before the beta kicks off, I could tell there was a problem. In short, the AT-ST Walker in Battlefront is grossly overpowered. And it got me thinking about the challenge vehicles pose for balancing in DICE's games. Since the first Battlefield released, a well-piloted vehicle against a disorganized team could easily dominate. Anyone who played Battlefield 2 can surely remember being pinned into the hotel spawn while a competent APC gunner chewed up the spawn point. Every Battlefield has had those moments, where the superior survivability and firepower of a tank, chopper or jet has led to a significant shift in the balance of power. Armoured units are a critical part of the Battlefield series' success, and it's essentially by design that well-armoured, well-equipped weapons platforms piloted by skilled players would do well against the dishevelled masses you call your teammates in a public game. They are, in fact, a critical part of the Battlefield experience. DICE's games are all about the rapid adjustment of priorities that large-scale games do so well, and a well-driven APC forces a competent player to do on-the-spot risk analysis and recalibrate their objectives on the fly. To use Battlefront as an example, if you see an AT-ST coming your way while you are completing your objective task, which in Walker Assault involves activating beacons for Y-Wings to attack the AT-ATs, you need to decide quickly. Can you complete your objective task and then deal with the AT-ST? Or do you need to change it up and deal with the AT-ST first? In the build we played, regular players did so little damage to the AT-ST that without a smart rocket or thermal imploder power-up, you were almost always better off prioritizing the objective. In fact, the nature of the public game dynamic combined with the card system in the beta meant that, by and large, the ground vehicle-less rebels won just a single match all day. Such was the advantage available to the Empire and their mobile weapons platforms. But I digress. Vehicles in DICE's games proved to be a game changer for a reason. They allow players to set their objectives, giving the player a degree of control over what they want to do in the game. This meant a variety of things. If you wanted to concentrate on objectives, you could do that. If you wanted to do something about vehicles, pick the engineer class or anti-tank and you could do that as well. Anti-personnel meant a sniper rifle and a place to pitch a tent. What they created was a situation where the player could decide how they wanted to play essentially on the fly. A new role, a new objective, a new gameplay loop was just a respawn away. The problem has always been less about options and more about the ability to exercise those options. In order for you to remove an armoured vehicle from the battlefield, you needed to be either close with C4 or you needed time as with the rocket launchers. And the best way to achieve either of these sub-objectives was with the help of competent teammates. Another teammate with a rocket launcher could reduce the time needed to destroy a tank. A teammate with a medic kit could keep you alive while you got close enough to plant your C4. Any teammate in either circumstance could provide you with the distraction necessary for you to do damage and stay alive. At its core, it's a method to encourage teamwork. It's another one of the tenets of DICE's first-person shooter games. Working together in a successful team is inherently more satisfying than working alone. Naturally, this tenet poses a problem of its own. Competent teamwork in cooperation with a vehicle can make a tank, APC or chopper deadlier still. On the ground, infantry could support vehicles by repairing and escorting them. Inside the vehicles themselves, gunner positions turn tanks, choppers and other vehicles into devastating killing machines. This is one problem which Star Wars Battlefront seems to have solved. Vehicles, by virtue of the power-up system, are single-pilot-only affairs. They can't be repaired. There was no card with that ability in the beta anyway. And no gunner means that if an ATST isn't looking your direction, you're at least momentarily safe from harm. As it is in the Battlefield games, the best solution to a troublesome vehicle is other vehicles. This is a challenge for the Rebel Alliance players on Hoth, however. The way Walker Assault works, in phases, a la Rush Mode, this means that, to begin with, the Rebels can only field at best 2 X-Wings against 2 AT-ATs, 2 TIE Fighters and 2 AT-STs. The best use of the X-Wings still appears to be against the AT-STs, except when Vader is on the battlefield or when the AT-ATs are vulnerable, which speaks to the degree of superiority the Landwalkers lend the Empire. As the game slowly moves onwards, the Rebels unlock more flying vehicles. In Phase 2 they get a pair of A-Wings, and in Phase 3 a pair of land speeders as well. The Empire also scores more flyers though, as TIE Interceptors bring superior mobility and firepower to the icy tundras of Hoth in Phase 3. As it is with the rest of the game, the player is forced to prioritize. Do you concentrate on ground support actions against the AT-STs? Do you worry about the TIE Fighters on your tail? Or if you're in the land speeder, do you try for the dangerous but oh so satisfying cable takedown on one of the AT-ATs? It creates a satisfying dynamic, but like I said earlier, with the AT-ST as powerful as it is, it felt like the ground assault option was weighted too heavily each and every time. As a matter of fact, the round I mentioned the Rebel Alliance winning, I spent most of that game in an X-Wing shooting at 8 AT-STs. Does that make me a hero of the Rebel Alliance? Yes it does. At the end of the day, it's a tough nut to crack. The game you'll play in the beta in a few days will be missing many options that the full game will provide. Cards that aren't available, weapons they haven't unlocked yet. There's every chance that the full game will have many options for players who need to deal with the AT-ST. And, more than that, they're nerfing the Chicken Walker even as we speak. Conversations I had with EA and DICE staff explained that a change was incoming. The version we play when the beta goes live on October 8 should see AT-STs taking significant damage when attacked from the rear, which didn't occur during my time in Stockholm, but could create a significant difference. They don't want to make the weapons platforms too weak, because then players aren't incentivized to make use of them. At the same time, making them too strong renders the priority-based gameplay system DICE games are renowned for moot, as players are forced to prioritize weapons platforms above all else. Luckily, there's a beta coming, so DICE can try this sort of stuff out. And, more than that, it's an open beta, so you can see it in action for yourself when the day arrives. I'll see you on Hoth. Thanks for watching. Bye.